Okay. Well, I just first of all, first impression. Wow, your English is really good. You know, you guys, and it's good because when you talk, you convey your feelings. It's not just, oh, I got some sentences out there, but you actually convey your sentence very well. And I don't what your name is.
My name's Paul.
Paul. Okay, Paul. You know. Paul, what you said you've been teaching for 25 years?
Probably 24.
24. And you've never been out of China. So you're a little bit like me, but you're doing a lot better in English than I'm doing in Chinese. But, you know, it's very good. The thing about, I think that's really important to keep in mind is when we teach the other language, when we teach English to our Chinese students or Chinese to our American students, in our minds it should be we're teaching to their future, you know. There's a famous hockey player. What's he? Wayne Gretzky? They asked him, you know, what's the secret of your success? And he says, you skate to where the puck is going to be. Did anybody ever know what hockey is? I mean, hockey is, puck is what you hit. So he says you skate toward where this puck is going to be, not to where it is. And I think that's for teachers, we're like that. We're trying to find out where our students are going to be and then help them as much as possible so when they get there, they will be better prepared to deal with life. And it's really hard for us. We can't predict where the puck is going to go, right? We really don't know. But we have to keep in mind that we use the best of our judgment, the best of our knowledge, and the best of our good feelings toward our students, and try to prepare them for being where they're going to be after they leave us. Right? So that's a secret. One thing I wanted to kind of explain to you guys is this is probably not a really average kind of program because you have really top people. I don't know anybody, any other team other than this could do what this team delivers. You know, Bob is the quintessential perfect interface with the community, and he seems to takes you can tell that when he does what he does, he enjoys it fully, which makes it easier for you to enjoy, right? Even if you're not so crazy about barbecue, because he's so excited about barbecue, you're going to try more barbecue, right? That sort of thing. But that's good. That's just, he's perfectly situated for doing his job. And we have Pat and Rachel. These are two of PhD students of mine. We really top-rate people. And, you know, actually, Pat has done some really revolutionary analysis of American-speaking Chinese in China. So what he's thinking is, oh, you know, so our students pass a test. And if they do really well, that's the end of it. But Pat basically, no, that's not the end of it. They go, they use the language, and there are people around them when they're using the language. Let's find out what that's about. And that's what he actually did in his dissertation. And Rachel did her dissertation, and she's really done up this summer, so we're all still panting a little bit. But Rachel looked at how visualization impacts the way we learn, the way we remember. That, you know, from the simple observation that the biggest part of our brain is focused on visual information. So we understand that visualization impacts how we remember and how we recall all sorts of things. And so she took a really good look at this, and she found that, you know, there's other times in the psychology, human psychology, where that also impacts. And sometimes, like when we're trying to get along in another culture, sometimes we're like people who have psychological problems in our own culture who also have to learn how to catch all the social signals and all of that sort of thing in order to just be able to function in the culture. So, I mean, that's really a tremendous insight, I think. It's very good. So if you ever get a chance, you ask her and read her dissertation. Pat's dissertation you can read by asking him for it, but you can read a lot of other dissertations because his stuff is all over and quoted all over the other dissertations. And, well, you see, you just haven't been looking. Anyway, and there's, Linia Ru, we've been working together for a long time. And, he's a man of many enthusiasms. He's a man of exhausting enthusiasms. Yeah. He's a man whose enthusiasms will not detour him from trying to get you involved with his enthusiasm. But that's exactly the kind of person that you want, and who sees there's a value, and then say, well, even if it's difficult, even if the institutions in the U.S. and China, even if they don't think that's important or they don't see the value of it, but he knows the value of it and he keeps pursuing it in a very persistent way, day after day, week after week, year after year. Now, that sounds really good and it's admirable, but sometimes it's just really irritating too. But this is like the good irritation, sort of thing. So anyway, I think the program, a lot of that kind of showed up in your discussion, and you started off with the idea that this is a beginning. Was that you? Yeah, and that's right. But for teachers are really fortunate in the kind of work we do, is that we can. The reason I'm a teacher is because I'm essentially a very bad man. If I were a lawyer or if I were a businessman, I would not be a good person. I would cheat and I'm just that kind of person. I know it. So I always thought teaching, that's the one place where I can be honest. I don't know what that says about me, and it's my view of society, but I figure it's really hard to be honest and lead an honest life in society. But teaching, you can do it. You can, because your goal is outside yourself. And if you're successful, it's like, my success means my students have to be successful. And if you do that, well, that pretty much consumes all your energy and your time. So the next thing you wake up, and you stand up and you're 75 years old and you wondered, where's all the time gone? That sort of thing. But I think it's really interesting to be a teacher in that sense. Values always come to people from different ways. But for people teaching and working and getting people to do something they could never do, getting them to go out and try something they would never occur to them to try, and to tell them, you're doing well, but you could do it better if you did it this way. All of that is just a really valuable and a very kind of precious thing to be engaged in, right? So I just think, that I'm very lucky to do the kind of job and work I do. You might say that somebody said that we're doing revolutionary look. It's not so revolutionary. Actually, the first time I started thinking about this whole idea of learning and how it works, I basically got it from the first line of the Analects. The first line of the Analects, I finally figured out what that meant, and that's pretty much told me what teaching and learning is all about, So our job is to provide students the opportunity to learn and then to use it. For them to learn, they have to use it, but we have to give them authentic situations so they're doing it at the right time. And so I don't know how revolutionary it is. I imagine Confucius was somewhat of a revolutionary person, so why not steal from him, right? We've been doing this for a couple of 3 millennia. But anyway, it's just really the nice thing is that we can all we can always learn, no matter if it's just the latest literature in cognitive science or it's ancient observations from Confucius or from Plato or from I don't know, Nicodemus, whoever it is, that we can always observe what people do to help other people learn or to think about things. So, it's a wide range of possibilities for us. So I just think we're very lucky to be able to do that. And, I'm sure you're all going to be really successful. So if I say you're going to be successful, I mean what? If I say you're going to be successful, what am I really saying? Huh? What?
Being a good teacher, a coach.
How do you know? If you're successful, how do I know you're a good coach or a successful or teacher or something? Huh? Your students do well. Your students come to you, and when they leave you, they can do stuff that they couldn't do before. And that stuff that they can do is useful to them. They can use it in their life. So that's we really know that's successful. So I think it's really wonderful. And you remember you said, well, a lot of times people do look at perform culture, that sort of thing, and they think we're actually diminishing the role of the teacher, because we're saying it's not the teacher's job to pass knowledge to students. It's the teacher's job to make sure the students find the knowledge and use it. That's that. So it sounds like we're diminishing the role of the teacher, because the teacher isn't the sole source of all knowledge. But in reality, we're making the teacher's job much more difficult and putting the teacher in a much more crucial role, that this student learns to do something only because this teacher is there. That if that teacher's away, that student will not even think of learning what to do or how to do it. So the teacher it's not that teachers aren't important, it's just teachers aren't the source of all knowledge. But the teachers are the source of setting up, providing opportunities, giving really good feedback, assessing and testing your students on the basis of, will they succeed later on? Even after they graduate from my university, they're going to succeed partially based upon what we did in our class, what we did in our program. So, that's the thing. A role of teacher, to me, seems highly very elevated. And so anyway, just wanted to think of that. I'm very impressed by your presentations, and I'm very touched. My role is very slight. The only thing I always try to do is remember, when you're teaching a language or something like that, it's not the approach, or what you use is not magic. If that's your best thing to do, use it. But if you find a better way to do it and to reach your goal, do that. So, we're not. That's really a key thing to remember. Just what are we trying to do? What do we want our students to do? And what's the best way to get there? I think you'll find that way. Okay, good. Thank you. I talked to you.